Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vigilante. You're watching the Vigilante Effect. On February 1st, about 74 people were killed during a soccer match, or after a soccer match in Egypt, in Bursaid. And to draw the picture for you, you need to understand a couple of things. You need to understand the politics, you need to understand the situation in Egypt, and we need to understand the reality of this exact situation, this tragedy. The two teams, just so I can describe it, it's like the Yankees in New York City. One of them is Alahly. This one is almost like the Yankees. You know, they're very famous, they're very loved, people are so enthusiastic about them. And then you have the other team, which is Almasry. This team has never beaten Alahly ever, and it's never expected that they were ever going to beat them. So keep this part in mind. Now, what happened after the game ended? You have the people from the fans, quote unquote, supposedly, that's what we're supposed to believe, the fans of the team of Almasry attacked, jumped onto the field and started attacking the players of the team of Alahly. And they started attacking the fans of the people of Alahly. And when I say attacking, they came ready with knives, and not just any knives. They came ready with regular knives and knives that were specifically made to slaughter or kill. Now, let's understand this. You have a team that never would ever win and beat a gigantic team. It's as if it's not as if the Mets beat the Yankees. That would be an understatement. It's as if, I'm not really into baseball, but whatever the worst baseball team there is, the underdog, and they come to face off against the Yankees, and they slaughter them 3-1. You know, the goals in soccer, they beat them 3-1. It's something completely unthinkable. Nobody would even think about predicting this. The common sense would be that if Al-Masri lost, what would happen? You know, the common sense, what would make sense is, you know, they're pissed off and then they jump at these people, they try to kill them, they try to attack them. That's what would make sense, right? But what doesn't make sense is that when they win, they go and they kill. That's what doesn't make sense. Where's your frustration coming from? You're winning the entire game, and now you're gonna come. It's not believable. That's my point. My point is, it's not, especially in the current situation. When I first heard about this in the news, I heard 34 people were dead. My first thought was, oh man, it has something to do with the revolution. And then I hear in a soccer match. I'm thinking, a soccer match? What the hell does a soccer match have to do with 74 people being dead in this time? What are these people thinking? You know, they're in a position where they're trying to elect government and they're trying to restore the government, and they fought all of this in the revolution just so they can worry about a stupid soccer match? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, what's the situation in Egypt? The situation in Egypt, before anybody starts talking, because I've seen videos and I've seen the accusations, the typical accusations. First thing someone says, oh, you know what, Islam is a terrorist religion. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, yeah, because I see the real solid connection between that and this situation, because Islam really had a lot to do with this. Second, you see people that are automatically starting to claim, you know, Egyptians are barbarians. These people that killed, yeah, they are. But Egyptians as a whole, let's study the situation now. And before I speak, I just want to say that my cousin was personally part of the revolution, and he and my family, my uncles, they stood and guarded the streets at the times where the police were not involved, were not available, because this was the fall of the police at that time. There was no police, there was no protection, and the civilians had to protect themselves. This is in the beginning of the revolution, which was January 25th of 2011. Around those times, the cities in Egypt were completely unprotected. There was no authority, and so the civilians had to cover for themselves. And my family, they were directly involved in this. I have an uncle that just came from Egypt. I have an aunt that just came from Egypt, and both of them just came from Egypt and visited us. So I have kind of a direct line as to what's going on there. It's not just I'm basing it on the news and what I read and my own thinking, but also based on direct experience from the people that were there. Now, the situation in Egypt is that the military, after the protests came and they took the president out, because the president was a tyrant. He was starving the country to death. And Egypt's a rich country, it's not a poor country. But the president was starving it and starving its people to death by keeping the money for themselves and by causing corruption in the land, by having people the police over there. We think over here that in America, the cops, there's police brutality. Psh, we have not seen police brutality unless you've seen Egyptian police at that time when they had a strength. They were brutal. If they wanted to put somebody in jail, they would put somebody in jail and then some for no reason. Someone can have a beard and they'll take him just for that reason. They were the bullies. And Hosni Mubarak, the president, he was their leader. He was the leader of everybody. He whatever he said could happen. Anything that he wanted would happen. And so everyone that was around him were all his dogs, literally. They would listen to every single order he would make. And they were all involved in this corruption, money scandals, corruption of the people, control of the people, complete and utter control. So now once he fell, someone needed to rule the country. And who ruled the country? The military. Because at that time, the military, something happened between them and the president, and they sided with the people. They did not go against the people. So now the military ran the country. Originally, what was supposed to happen is that by September of 2011, which is this past September, everything was supposed to be decided. The president, the new parliament, the new constitution, everything was supposed to be revamped and decided and done for by then. But what happened was that the military kept stalling and the people got more agitated. That's why you kept hearing that there's still more protests. Why are people protesting? People are thinking, why, the president's gone. Why are they still protesting? People are protesting because they see a prolongment in the military rule. If the military rules, first of all, they have no experience in politics. They just have experience in ruling the military. And if the military continues to rule, then these are the people that were ruled by Hosni Mubarak, which is the president. And so there's no difference between their mentalities. If you have a dog that's followed his owner the whole entire time for 30 years, they're not going to change overnight. There's going to be some corruption involved, and eventually the same thing is going to happen. So you started seeing these random acts out of nowhere. Things that would stall the movement towards a less chaotic state, towards a more stable state in Egypt. How did this happen? First, they said they're gonna get everything done by September. They didn't do that. The people started getting agitated, so they started pushing them. And then when they start pushing them, what ends up happening? Something random happens. Some issue happens with a church where it would never happen before. People start robbing banks. It shows an urgent need for the military, almost as if to create this sense of, okay, you know what? Let's forget about the voting now. Let's forget about all these things. Let's just stay with the military for now. And why wouldn't the military want for progress to happen? Because eventually, when progress happens and there is a president and there is a parliament and there is a constitution, what's going to happen is the military is going to go back to being just a military, which means they're going to be under the rules of the constitution. They're going to be under the rules of the president. And which means that if they've done wrong, they're going to be accountable for that wrong that they've done at the time where the president Hosni Mubarak was the ruler. So what do the people want right now? The people started asking for explain to them, not explaining, obviously they didn't sit down and chat, they protested, expressing that they don't want the military to rule any longer, meaning they want them to rule as long as the government has been established, but they want the process to move and to go faster. And so they started pressuring them with protests. And therefore, that is why finally the parliament has been voted in and, we're getting somewhere. But now as soon as you're getting somewhere, something like this tragedy in Bursaid happens. You might think, oh, this is conspiracy, this is, insane, this doesn't make sense, where you're coming from. You have people that were prepared. They were already prepared coming to the match. They're coming with an agenda. They want to kill people. They're going to fight. There's something that's going to happen. Here's what makes sense. If someone was to sit down and make a plot, they'll say, you know what? This team, they'll never win. So let's make this scenario happen. Let's make it that since this team is never going to win, let's have the people that are supposedly their fans supposedly get angry when they lose, and they start attacking the team of Alahly, or the popular team, the strong team. Have them attack their fans. That way there's chaos. That way people start thinking, oh, you know what? No, we still need the military. We still need them to stay in power. That's a perfect plan. Nobody's going to think this is made up. But subhanallah, glory belongs to God. That in the history of Egypt, this has never happened. It has never happened that this team would beat the Ahli. This team would never beat the weaker team. Never has ever come close to beating this dominant team, this dominant force. And the day that people have a plot to make it seem believable, God comes and He makes it very evident that this is not the case. Very evident that their plot is going to be spoiled in front of everybody, to show them this is the team that you expected were going to lose. This is the team that won now. And not only did they win 3-1. To expose them, now that they're going to do these acts, they have no justification for it. Where is the justification that you're coming with? Where you're coming here and attack for what? Why are you so angry? Your team won they were winning the whole time. What excuse do you have, really? And now when the people come to question who was it, nobody knows. Every time a situation like this happens during the revolution, nobody knows. Nobody knows who was the one involved. Nobody knows who started it. Nobody knows anything. Why? Let me tell you a secret. We do live in a world that's power hungry. The people that were running Egypt were one of the worst of people in terms of power hunger. The worst. And so it's not very far-fetched. And actually it's very naive not to even consider this as a possibility. That something like this is something purposely planned and is purposely meant to stall the election. So the election continues to go on until 2014, and that was actually what was proposed. They started first. They said, September 2011, and now they're saying. Then they started saying, let's have the parliament voted in at 2013, and let's have the president come in at 2014. Why? So that when 2013 comes, they just start to do the parliament, and then when 2014 comes, maybe they might have the parliament done, and then by the time the government is in, the government's not even in. It's like it's 2016, nothing's happened, and the progress is stalled, and military would still be in power, and they'll still be in rule. At one point, there was politicians, kind of like how we have here the super PACs, that they advertise for the politicians, and they make certain politicians look bad, and they try to brainwash people with certain things. They had politicians go up on stage, and then they would say, you know what, okay, fine, let's have the parliament include in the constitution certain things that the military would decide, that the military would have, they would be by themselves, nobody can question them, they do whatever they want to do, and nothing happens to them. Nobody can question them, nobody can go back and prosecute them for any crimes that they've committed. We'll add this in the constitution. Of course, people, they went out and they protested. So now the military sees, you know what, this is not something that's possible. So what do we have to do now? Now we have to stall as much as we can and rule as much as we can. This has been my thought. I thought, I'd share it. This is a horrible, horrible tragedy. 74 people died. I'm going to put the link below, and you guys watch it. Literally, right after the match ended, the people just started jumping onto the field and chasing the people of the dominant team and the fans of that dominant team. And not only that, the police didn't do anything. Nobody stopped them. These people, they get patted before they go inside the field. They get patted before they go inside the games. How the hell did all these people get past with weapons and knives and butchering knives? And why is it nobody did anything? The police didn't do anything to stop them. Why? And why is it that every single victim that survived is saying that they were chased and they were trying to escape and there was no escape. The doors were being closed on them and they were being trapped and they were being butchered and attacked. And you're trying to tell me this is over a football game? Come on, people. This is during a revolution. You really think people are going to be thinking about a football game during the revolution that they fought so hard for and that they died for? I really doubt that. This has been the Vigilante Effect. It's a little different from my usual taste, but I just found it so despicable I had to talk about it. Peace.
Here's a chance. Great build-up, nearly in here. Goodness me, it's hit the post. Well, they're level. And where did that come from? They've got the goal so late on. Small fry they might be, but they've had a big moment here and they're level.
Yeah, they've got great spirit within this team. They would not lie down, and who knows now? It's been that kind of night. Drama all the way. And have we got a little bit more in store? Yeah.
The emphasis certainly on attack here. No, not this time. And the opposition come away with the ball. And the referee has blown his whistle to end it all at 3-3. Well, they were trying to pull away and increase their lead this season, but the draw keeps the gap as it was, and it's not a bad result for them.
Well, not at all when you consider that. Yeah.